Welcome to our Devos. This series that we're doing is about taking inventory. It's really about stewardship. It's about managing the things that we tend to overlook, and the fact that it's a part of our assignment to be stewards, managers of the things that God has given us. And today, I want to talk to you about not overlooking the little things. You want to be faithful in small things. Why do we talk about this? Because in reality, there is no other way to be faithful. It has to start with small things. There are so few people who actually have the ability to stay faithful with big things if they haven't first been faithful in small things. Did you ever wonder, and I've used this illustration so much, but did you ever wonder why when kids inherit businesses, or people win the lottery, or people end up getting houses that their parents gave them that they didn't work for, did you ever wonder why so often they lose those things? Well, they've not practiced being faithful in the little things, and managing the little things, those little day-to-day things. They've not been practical in how God would show them to manage those things, because they think, well, it's not a big deal. They look at somebody else who is thriving, and they have all this responsibility, and they go, oh, yeah, if I had that much, I'd be more on top of my stuff. No. Scripturally speaking, if you're going to be a wise manager, you want to be faithful in every little thing. I can't help but talk about it because it's funny to me, but it's also just his personality. We had probably the worst snowstorm we've had in a while a month ago here at the church. And I think we only had over the weekend, I think, with the exception of Saturday night, on that Sunday, I think we had maybe 7 or 8 people come. And it was really bad. It was the worst we've had since before COVID, for sure. And I was, the first service, nobody showed up but the leaders, just the workers who were all here, ready to serve the people that would come. Well, the second service, there was one person that came, or a couple that came, and they drove up here. And so Pastor Mike was the one that was preaching. And he took this pulpit and he put it down in the center, and he preached as if he was preaching to 500 people. He was a little more personable, and he was more charitable with, illustrations and things, but he took it very serious at the PowerPoint. And then the third service, I think we only had maybe 2 or 3 people come, and one of them was his son. And so I'm laughing because I'm like, I don't think he's going to preach. Well, I came upstairs, it was 11:15, and we were kind of managing all the stuff downstairs and helping with the cleanup of all the snow, and he was preaching as if it was the first time. And I thought about those moments of faithfulness, and I'm like, this guy, he could be like, we're just not going to do anything today. It's not a big deal. But what he did was he was acting faithful in the little things. And we have a $20-some million church that we're building. And he was preaching with the same amount of fervency as if we were preaching to a crowd of 800. And this is the key, being faithful in small things. Luke chapter 16, verse 10, one who is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. And one who is dishonest in very little is also dishonest in much. In my own life, I look at things with my business, and I had some things pick up, but things went into a slump, and how it is when you own a business and you're going back and forth. Well, I was looking at taking an inventory of all of the things I had, and I called Pastor Mike and I said, I'm not taking advantage of this one thing that I have in my arsenal. I'm like, I don't know why I'm not doing this. And I feel like I'm not being faithful because God has enabled me to have this and I'm not using it. It's just sitting there on a shelf, and it's really annoying. And I want to kick this into high gear. And I realized, how is God going to trust me with this massive business if I can't manage and do well on this little thing that I can do? Right? So this is the way with everything. A lot of times we want more things, but in reality, my question to you is, are you managing the little things that God has given you? Are you treating that with the amount of gratitude and respect that it deserves? Because God gave you whatever that is. Some of you are like, I'm not as talented as this person. I can't sing. I can't do this. Well, what can you do? Are you encouraging? Do you offer words of encouragement? Are you a person that is just die hard when the doors of the church open, you serve, and you're willing to greet people, you're willing to do dishes, you'll do whatever. Whatever giftedness you have, You want to exploit it for the kingdom of God. You want to use it for his glory and be faithful in the little things. Because those 2 or 3 people that you interact with, that might end up being the linchpin for something that completely changes your life. But you have to be willing to be faithful when no one's paying attention, because God is, and he's keeping account. And he rewards those that are faithful in a little bit with more.